Welcome to the Everyday Gnostic Guide to Holistic Living. Thank you for joining us as we continue on this series of holistic living. Today we will go over the 3 steps we all need to take to reach self-improvement. So here are the 3 steps we will study today. First, learning how to listen. Second, managing negative emotion. And third, changing the way we think. First, we will discuss learning how to listen. I will pose the following question and let you answer to yourself. Do you know what real listening feels like? Have you ever really listened when someone is talking? Do you consider yourself a good listener? In the world, there are many wonderful speakers that amaze the masses with their speeches and eloquence. However, few are those who know how to truly listen to them. Truly knowing how to listen is something very difficult to do. The truth is, not many people know how to listen. When a speaker is giving his or her speech, the audience seems to be alert and following every single one of their words. They even seem to understand everything the speaker is saying as they listen. Little do they know that deep in their psychological state, in each one of the audience members, there is a secretary. Yes, a secretary, who is translating the words of the speaker. The role of the secretary is to misinterpret or misconstrue the words of the lecturer. That secretary lives in our minds and translates everything it hears according, of course, to its prejudices, preconceptions, biases, prejudgments, fears, pride, anxieties, etc. Only when we are in a state of truthful mindfulness and think with a spontaneous mind, when we remove the weight of the past and keep ourselves in a state of complete receptiveness, only then we can really listen without the interference of this bad secretary, also known as the ego. Our second step is learning how to manage negative emotions. First, let's discuss what we understand by a negative emotion. Let me explain that for the most part, we are mainly manipulated by our negative emotions. Those emotions are what we commonly know as the 7 deadly sins and its multiple manifestations. But when we cautiously choose not to identify ourselves with our surroundings and become emotional participants of our daily problems and sorrows of our life, it is then and only then when we begin to take control of our emotions. I would be lying if I said that this task was an easy one. It is very hard and sometimes almost impossible to remove ourselves from all the attachments from our daily life when we are constantly bombarded with all types of problems, responsibility, debts, decisions, and daily activities that we have bound ourselves to day in and day out. Normally, we let our negative emotions take the steering wheel, and instead of reacting in a composed and peaceful manner, we get furious, irritated, and let our negative emotions take control of our body and our mind. We need to reflect a little and remind ourselves that life is fleeting. All these inconveniences and hardships of life always become in time a passing memory. Our third and final step is changing the way we think. Through our Gnostic teachings, we will give you many exercises and we will provide you with an esoteric doctrine. We can provide you with all the knowledge needed to awaken your consciousness. But if you do not change the way you think, what is the use of obtaining all this intellectual knowledge when all this knowledge you can get from books and the lecturers you will listen to, they will fall short if you do not change the way you think. In our Gnostic teachings, you will hear repeatedly that is necessary and imminent to dissolve the ego, and that we have to sacrifice ourselves for humankind. But if we continue thinking the way we are thinking right now, the way that we have been thinking, if we continue with the same mental habits as before, habits like prejudgment, perfectionism, regret, substance dependency, anxiety, etc., then we will not be able to evolve spiritually. We must dissolve the ego, otherwise, we will never achieve the slightest amount of conscious awakening. With that, we conclude today's message. Wishing you all a wonderful, healthy, and abundant life. See you all next time.